Bowser Rules here. Today, I'm playing Gmod. Actually, I'm doing kind of a scenario today. This is a scenario I set up where it's kind of a last stand scenario. This is the Pillar of Autumn map I found in the workshop. It's the Pillar of Autumn except with, well, map differences. One of the things this map can do is set quarantines. Which, what it does is it locks off the bridge and all exits to the ship. Meaning there's no way to access the hangar from any other room. Including this little loading dock right here, which is a small Warthog loading dock. You can't access it because of a door shut. And the escape pods that don't actually work, and they don't even have escape pods in them, don't actually have a door blocked off to them as well. So the only areas that and also there's a quarantine area in the ship, but that's more for where the quarantine would be, where you would store something that would possibly escape. Anyway, well, this is the main area. Wrong end. Anyway, this is a huge map. I'll probably do a review of it on my own. I might do a review on it of my own at some time. But if you look here, it's like I have set up a small flood infection on this area of the ship. Most of the combat forms that got infected by an initial wave I had set up are turned into carrier forms, so they're pretty much just carrying infection forms now. So there's just a line of infection forms lined up at the store. I've also set this door to block NPC logs. Also, if you notice my frame rate's really low, that's because this map is laggy. So as I've set up pretty much 2 people over here patrolling. By the way, I am just going to be not participating, just being a view. And I've also set up this is an area where I can control everything that happens. I can open the hangar doors. I can actually bridge lockdown, which there's a door that normally would be closed in between this if the bridge was simply locked down. I've also quarantined this area, so quarantine, which will close all doors. I've also got the alarm system like that. I've also got this alarm system. This opens the hangar doors, which doesn't make a sound, it just does. So yeah, it's pretty much how this. So I'm going to be controlling it, and I've actually got some pretty interesting camera angles set up. There's a prison slash security deck which has a camera box in it, and you can set up where it looks. As you can see, it's looking from this angle into this room. So what I'm gonna do is I'm pretty much just gonna turn on the AI. I've got this little setup over here. We've got Alex Vance and Barney Calhoun talking to these two. I have no clue. No clue who any of these people are. They're just Half-Life characters. This is I've also done another mod that makes these look more like Halo and a bit more nitty-gritty and a bit more sci-fi looking. Well, sci-fi in the sense of Halo style than actual Rebels. So, I've also got this skin on. I'm at ODST. So I'm just gonna turn on the AI. Well, and the AI is on. I'm just gonna turn on the quarantine. I'm set to ignore. So, hey, let's see what happens. What if I open the door with quarantine? So if I open the door, first of all, the infection forms are just gonna start rushing in. Take in mind these doors are literally destroyable, and they act like props when destroyed. As you can see, the citizens are just mopping up the infection forms, but so this might be a bit of a one-sided fight. If this does end up being a one-sided fight, I'm just gonna see. Thing is, most of the citizens that died here were friendly fire incidents. Okay, so we have someone else in there. So you have Alex Vance, and we've got Barney Calhoun have joined the fight, so let's get a better camera angle. Oh, right, it also changes my voice. Oh, look. One of the. Okay, let's just start just stop. Let's just start the quarantine again. Well, the medic died. Well, honestly, just simply placing down another. Okay, look. Right. If one of these, take in mind, this map has a glitch where if you sit by a door long enough, it'll close next to it and you won't open again. As you can see, pretty much sealed. So there's actually one thing I that is in this pack that adds a kind of a infection form spawner. So, but this won't be one of those insanely long videos like I've had these past few videos be. I'm pretty much just gonna set up. There are bodies over here. The infection forms should automatically go and infect them. See? I'm gonna set up a ton of infection forms because honestly, most of my army had turned into carrier forms for the reason of there not being enough carrier form. There being no flood spawner. So let's try opening this again. As you can see, most of the things that have died have actually been friendly fire. Now, the thing about the combat forms is they actually can take a bit to go down if you aim properly. They're pretty weak if you can aim, but the AIs can't aim, so. On top of that, they have to reload eventually. When I was fighting them, it actually took very little time for them to kill me. There we go, there. So let's just close the door again, see what. Let's close the door and we're just gonna start. Hey, this infection form, this one guy on the inside is just gonna. As you can see, the door is pretty much closing, and when it seals shut, all the infection. As you can see, it seals shut, so now they can't shoot. Because I've said a fun fact: this door normally does not. They will try to shoot through the door normally. The way the AI is set up is it doesn't block NPC logs, but now it's set up to block NPC logs, so it won't shoot through it. I'm gonna have to get rid of this body. Yeah, sometimes they will go after a body on an area they can't access, so. I'm actually gonna have to delete these bodies. Yep, I'm gonna have to delete the bodies. So out of what we've got remaining, we've got Barney Calhoun and 2 rebels left. What the hell? Is it still going? Is there a corpse back here or something? Yep. This is what I mean by glitch. This is also what happened to. Now they're gonna start going after the corpses they can access. Oh yeah, they also make this terrifying screech noise when they're infected. It's actually something from the games that probably terrified a lot of the newer players to Halo 3. Yeah, in my opinion, the Flood are terrifying. It's just flat out terrifying. Now, to speed up the process, I'm just going to temporarily set 2 of these over here. Set up one here. It should take like 5 seconds for it to fully affect all these. As you can see, they're starting to pile up on the door. Now, this is just going to be a raging mob on the door. Now, it's time to... Now, this is going to be interesting to see through the camera angle. Holy crap. Holy crap, it took like 5 seconds. Now they're just all gonna push through and infect. As you can see, they've pretty much pushed through the door. Now they need motivation. Since they actually have an AI where they won't go after undiscovered enemies, meaning these two are invisible. At least until I do something like this. Now, for a setback, let's try doing a counterbalance and setting up more troops. By the way, the only reason I'm not using Halo troops is because the normal combine resistance, they can infect the dead corpses. The normal resistance troops, they can infect corpses all fine. I guess I'm actually using an improved resistance mod. So, and plus I've got a mod that makes the resistance look more Halo-like, and so I'm just gonna start using that. In fact, the refugees are the funniest in my opinion because they have the civilian loadout. Oh, so they still got the normal ones in there. It's just mainly the Halo civilians. Huh, refugee and civilians. That must be. Just up a small resistance pocket up here, and as you can see, they get swarmed immediately by flood. This is actually how the flood in lore attack. And actually, they start a patrol. Now, as you can see, they're all gonna start rushing up the stairs because I think and this is pretty much how the fight works. In Halo, you shoot at a horde of enemies rushing towards you. Now, you get to see me find my way through this glorious horde of flood. The weapons I've got on me are just the assault rifle. This is pretty much I like using this because it does way more damage in like a short-term sense, so. Yes, I do have a Z3 movement. Oh crap. Oh crap. Actually, let's just see, each shot does more damage. As you can see, one shot drops a flood, so. If I get lucky, I can get it one shot drops. There, it takes like, they have exactly 40 health, meaning every 39 shot takes 2 shots. That means using this, oh crap. I forgot there's a snow, oh crap. Yes, it is a snow clip, I was. Oh my god, I'm sorry I'm not using my assault rifle more. It's actually more effective to use a pistol and assault rifle because a pistol is more damage. Now, as you can see, that's what happens when they do swarm tactics. They just... Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much what fighting the flood is like. As you can see, that's just a horde attack. They all attack at once, meaning... having, like, the SMG is a much better weapon to deal with them than the assault rifle, because the assault rifle does more damage. Meaning you're gonna be meaning, like, if you have a one-shot that can... just because you have a rifle that can one-shot everything, but has low ammo capacity, that would be a bad idea for the flood, because you wouldn't need something that would one-shot everything. You would only need something that would one-shot like, 3 shots from a rifle would kill a normal marine, meaning kill a normal trooper. Take in mind, the lure behind them is these are corpses just being infected like zombies. And their the things that they are using to infect are so weak, literally they're being able to be popped very easily. AKA these. What are they going after? this is, but it's like a popcorn. Most people refer to these popcorn shrimps in a joking manner because of just how small and insignificant they are. Literally, it's like it's emphasis on the pop because it's like I'll show you. They barely have 40. Do you know how these have 40 health? Those like actually the infection forms. If you get a headshot on the infection form, insta kill no matter what damage because they pop like shrimp, and since they're latched onto the spinal cord, if you just damage it, it'll knock it out for a few seconds and it'll revive itself. But if you kill the infection form, it does a lot of damage. As you can see, I took out a lot of enemies for dying. Just take in mind that, like the assault rifle versus the SMG, this is how fast I can take out the assault rifle. As you can see, I have a 32 round magazine. I killed very few of them. Some machine gun, no modifications. One magazine, which 60 rounds take in mind. I killed 2. Then again, half of them missed. If I focus my shots like that, you see I just killed 3 in like half a mag. Thing is, as you can see, like I've got 3 shots left. Let's see how much damage it does. As you can see, those things can one-shot by an SMG bullet. So SMG is perfect for taking out the small fry. It's like just pull out an SMG and just do a sweeping strike. You'll probably kill like at least a good half of them if you get like 5 shots in per second. If you look up here, is like an insane amount of it. As you can see, this is pretty much what happened on my last attempt at this. The corpses get piled up, so many point that infection forms, and they're literally piled up in an area where the infection forms. They're having trouble getting to them. It's just tedious. As you can see, this is also what happens when you have a horror though. Since there's so many bullets going there, so many being dropped, the blood piles up in the hallway. Yeah, but this map's really dark without my flashlight, so it's much easier to use the flashlight. And as you can see, they've pretty much just pushed up and they're just going up here and reviving each dead soldier. Which in my opinion is a very good applause on the mod creator's part. As you can see, as you can plainly see, humans lose against them. It's just, there's too many. It causes an overwhelming effect. Even if I were to just place down, pop the small ones, as I was saying, even if you just place down infection forms, it'll do a lot of damage. Like, you don't need the carrier forms to do it. I prefer carrier forms because the alternative would be there's 3 things you can place down to get infection forms. A spawner, which I find unfair because it's literally endless waves. I only use them when an area has been fully infected. A carrier form, which 1 is equal to 5 to a good amount of infection forms that just burst out of it, like 5 I believe, which is a good amount for our purposes. As you can saw, like take in mind, the horde that was outside, that was placed down like impromptu, and they still used to infect the corpses, and they still took a few losses. They used 3 to infect corpses, and then they ended up healing most of them in the individual infection form placers. Which, as you can see, individually they're useless. As you can see, there's oh yeah, also the corpses they have something in them that allows them to do it, and they don't get deleted. So they occasionally might pull a random troop out of the ground type of deal. But let's see what happens when I split the force in half. Oh, actually no, Bowser's signing out. This is going to be the it for this little flood review. Anyway, this is Bowser's signing out.